Orny Adams in studio, getting to some news headlines. Just reading one right now on TMZ.
Yeah, I'll read it for you. Alec Baldwin officially charged with involuntary manslaughter. The DA used his TV interviews against him, which you mentioned was a
Mark Garagos, attorney Mark Garagos.
I'm reading the charging document actually as we speak, and it's don't miss reasonable doubt for the next couple episodes.
Mark goes bananas whenever these guys sit down with interviews.
Of course.
It's like there's nothing that can come of this other than your own words being held against you.
Right.
What the fuck are you sitting down with these people for? He won't let his clients do it.
Of course.
And he sat down with, what's his name? Stephanopoulos. And Mark was like apoplectic. Like, no. And he just kept saying they're going to use it against you.
It was a weird move.
It's ego. It's ego.
Oh.
Well, I guess a lot of it. See, the problem, whether it's, we're in a new world order where we bring you in front of Congress or in front of the FBI or whoever you are. We ask you to ask a few questions. And at some point we go, okay, we're not charging him for colluding with Russian operatives. We're charging him for lying to us about something during the interview.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, now you're busted on something you didn't need to bust yourself on. You just lied during. And I guess the big thing was squeezing the trigger, which Baldwin said he did not do. And then, but they go get the gun and they test it and they give it to the ballistics guy and he goes, nah, you got to squeeze the trigger.
Right.
And now we're getting you for lying. Like what you should have just said is, I pointed the gun, I squeezed the trigger. It's what goes on 1,000 times a day on movie sets. I was handed a gun that said it was a cold gun.
Cold gun, yeah.
So, the DA honed in on these interviews where he claimed not to fire the weapon. And the DA states there are multiple photos and videos that clearly show his finger on the trigger. Also, there are a couple things. There are more things on this charging document, including Baldwin knew the drill. The armorer should have been present, checking the gun to make sure it was safe. And Baldwin knew that, yet he relied on the assistant director who had no authority to clear the weapon for use. And he was supposed to undergo firearms training, but failed to do so.
Yeah, but let me just say, like the firearms training and shit like that. Mm-hmm. If anybody who worked for the city of Los Angeles, like if anybody works in Los Angeles, if you employ 3 people and one of them quits, they'll sue you. And then at some point, the attorney will come around and go, do you have a posted placard that says employees are able to take a 20-minute break every 2 hours in the front lobby of the whatever? And you go, no, I don't have the placard up. And they go, okay, well, then you're in violation of... It's basically you could walk into the kitchen of any restaurant in America and find 15 health code violations, even if it didn't mean anything.
Right.
Nobody takes a firearms training course 40 years into their acting career.
But I would know never to point a gun. Even
you were in Teen Wolf, so you understand.
I only shot 2 people. Thankfully, they lived.
Really? On the set?
Yes. As a big movie star, I would like to weigh in. Being on the #1 original movie in the history of Paramount Plus right
Teen
now.
Wolf?
Teen Wolf is the #1 streaming movie. I haven't seen it because the one chance I don't subscribe to Paramount Plus, they refused to send me a code. And the one chance I had to see it, I ducked out of the premiere to come perform because that was my integrity. I was booked on your show in December, and they didn't invite me until like 2 weeks. I think I was on the second list of invitees. So I said, no, I'm committed.
Right.
I'm committed. And at the time, I thought Jay Leno was on it, and I wanted to see his new face. And so I said, I'm leaving.
Good.
Yeah, it looks good. Now he's in another accident.
His new ribs, not so good, but the face.
This he's on a death wish all of a sudden.
Yeah, so...
but Teen Wolf, congrats. That's only until Drunk Tank, the movie,
comes out.
Is on Paramount.
That's right.
Yeah.
But people say, what do you feel about this? That this is, charging Alec Baldwin is political.
Everything is political now. So That's the New World Order. These elected officials and the DAs get elected. They want high-profile cases to go after. So when the DA of New York is running for election, she's saying, when I'm elected, I'm going after Trump.
Right.
When I think the DA in Pennsylvania or Philly DA announced, elect me and I will recharge Bill Cosby. I'll go after him again. Like, there's this weird thing. The DOJ is going to go down and investigate the Tyree Nichols case. They will go down and investigate that. They'll not go down and investigate Mark Garagos's case, where the white guy was shot to death by a bunch of cops in the hallway of a hotel, which is super graphic.
What case is this?
So that's the point. You don't know it.
Yeah, I
right?
don't know. What is it? But Mark Garagos is a lawyer.
Yeah. He represents.
Oh, okay, got it.
He wasn't involved at the shooting.
Oh my God, this is exciting! Wow.
No, here's the point. The worst police shooting in history in America is captured on tape, and you don't know the case because the guy was shot was white. That's the worst police shooting.
What is that?
There is.
Oh, the guy who shot Kennedy.
No.
Sirhan.
The case that you don't know about was cops shooting a civilian who was begging for his life. But you don't know it. No. The point is, because CNN and
what
USA
year is
Today,
this?
a couple of years back.
And what is the? Let's see the video.
You don't. It's more.
Really?
It's more disturbing than seeing the guy beaten in its own weird way, because
it's like an execution.
It is an execution. Yeah, the guy's begging for his life the whole time. But you've never seen it.
No.
And
they're covering that on TLC.
And the Department of Justice doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Because it's a white guy. So it's all
But wait
politicized.
a minute, that doesn't make sense.
It does if you have a theme.
No, but wouldn't the Justice Department want to make sure there was justice for a white victim? I don't understand. It seems like
if the same guy, and they didn't do it under Trump either. I actually talked to Mark about it. But if Merrick Garland is saying white supremacy is the biggest problem this country faces, then he has a theme, and he is going to go pursue that theme.
Yeah.
He's not going after the white cop that shot the white kid in the hallway. It doesn't comport with his theme.
If it's on tape and it's an execution, how is there not been justice? Is there justice?
Cops, no, didn't get no justice. Now, he got a civil suit out of the city.
From the
for the family, for like $8 million. But he did never, those cops are running free. And it's all politicized.
Yeah, I can't comment. I haven't seen it, but so you're saying there's politics in everything, and that's it.
Yeah, that's certainly in race. It's always around.
And has it always
around race.
And I want to say this, because I saw a news clip, and it was something from the 60s. And I saw in the background a protester holding a sign. This is in the 60s. This is in black and white, I think. Did they have color back then?
In real life?
Yeah. He had a sign that said, "Stop police violence."
Yeah.
And once again, I said to myself, nothing has changed.
No.
There was a gas crisis when I was a kid in the 70s. We just lived through another one. It's all recycle. Oh, we're going after the robots again. Yes.
No, listen, the global warming and climate change was just called ecology. But it was the same discussion 50 years ago about how we're entering an ice age or the polar caps are going to melt. It was all the same doom and gloom from now. The grandkids, now we have to hear from the fucking grandkids of the assholes that were wrong 50 years ago.
So you don't believe in global warming?
No, I do believe in it.
Okay, you do. Yeah.
It's not what they're saying.
I think I don't. I think I just can't imagine. I mean, think about it, Adam. What would it take to heat up a flat Earth? These people that believe in global warming are out of their minds.
I am saying something can exist.
Yeah.
Just like racism can exist.
To a degree.
not to the degree that they're saying it is, not to the degree Al Gore is telling us it is. Al Gore said doom and gloom 14 years ago. We haven't got, it's not to the degree, and then the solutions should be a different direction than what they're going.
But I do feel like we've reached a tipping point with global warming because now.
But if you lived through the 70s, you could hear my mom explaining that by 1980 we will reach a tipping point for global warming.
We have, because I just read that they're going to recycle toilet water into tap water. That seems like a tipping point to me. That feels like that's all we should be talking about. Like, not even call it global warming anymore. Call it recycled toilet water.
That'll get the attention of America.
Yeah, hey, all these earthquakes, and what's the cause of that? Recycled toilet water.
I was thinking last night about a sign that my hippie mom put on the toilet that said, "Flush with a friend." In like 1973. Which is, if you take a piss, walk away.
Yeah.
And then if your stepdad comes in and takes a deuce or takes a piss, then he can flush. But one flush for two people in the number one department.
Can't do two and leave.
Can't do two and leave.
Well, there is a saying, right? If it's yellow, let it mellow.
That's right. If it's brown, flush it down.
Yeah. Well, it seems like your mom's one little sign needed like sort of some asterisks or some explanation, or because if I was visiting,
she needed a calligrapher. It was horrible. It was a Sharpie angrily scrolled on a piece of notebook paper.
Yeah.
I probably pissed on it.
I didn't know you had a hippie mom.
Oh God, it's the worst.
Did she hem your clothing and everything? Did she make your own clothing?
No, she was a lazy hippie mom. Yeah. The worst of all worlds. The worst.
So someday this is going to be recycled from the toilet.
All right.
Excited.
Water bottle, yeah.
All right, what else we got?
All right. So it's now safe to drive in Glendale again, thanks to the arrest of Nathaniel Radamak, who was that guy jumping out of a Tesla and hitting other cars with pipes.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, for weeks they couldn't find this guy, but he was just arrested in Torrance and booked on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon. He had 2 outstanding warrants for his arrest, and it totaled over $5.1 million in bail. Because he has a lengthy history of a lengthy criminal history that spans nearly 2 decades, crosses multiple states and jurisdictions. So he takes flight a lot. So
I want guys like this put down because these are the worst elements of society. Bank robbers, fraud, Bitcoin fraudsters and stuff. There's a context. This is just guys running around, rage vomiting on other motorists.
So there was nothing that. What's the impetus? What spurred this?
That's the whole thing.
He just started chasing people?
He just kept jumping out of his car
He's just full
and
of rage,
going
right?
like El Kabong on people all the time.
This guy can afford a Tesla?
I know.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out that's the Plaid. That one's like $140K.
Also,
well, that's why his bail's so much.
What about running someone's fucking ass over? Like, guy jumps out of his car with a tire iron, starts running toward you. How about you? It's in drive.
Yep. Stand your road.
That's right.
Stand your road. He's wearing a mask. Is this during COVID or is this part of his getup?
This is part of his getup.
And so how many times did he do this?
This is a few weeks ago. So there are a lot of cases where they said that he's attacked him, but they just couldn't find the guy because he doesn't have a license plate and he wears a mask. So there's this internet sleuth that's kind of been taking over Twitter and TikTok named Tizzy Ent, and he posted this video. Has millions of TikTok followers. He just was like, please, just if anybody knows this guy, just give me the name. That's all I want is the name. And 3 people gave him a name, which he passed on to police, and that's how they caught him, was based off of this guy on TikTok. But
there's no such thing as police catching anyone anymore. You just fucking sit around and wait for some chick sitting in an apartment with their cats to go find out, open this cold case and blow the lid off it or whatever. Yeah. They just hang out and wait for people to tell them shit down.
That's crazy. Could you see yourself, Adam, running this guy over if he came at you like this? Or does it depend which car you're in?
I would not run him over. I would hope that someone else did, but I'd definitely get out of the car. I think I would get out of the car and punch him.
Now, what do we do if this guy's on drunk take? Because it seems like we'd have a safety issue for the crew.
That's a liability.
Yeah, he's a liability.
These guys need to be vetted.
But so he's
full background checks.
So he's an alleged career criminal. His crimes include stalking. He's punched a woman in the face. He's slashed tires. A lot of these are with like women, like maybe like he's been in a relationship.
He'll be out in
with, too.
3 months.
Yeah, so he's a
Oh, look,
real,
he's angry. How about that guy
piece of
on
work.
that Netflix show with the machete?
Yeah.
That was, same sort of.
The thing I can't get over is he's driving the Tesla Plaid, as Gary said, the $120,000 rig with the yoke steering wheel. Like, it's such an unlikely car for like a weird rageaholic to drive. There's got to be a story.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a Tesla driver
No.
either. Like, that's the scariest thing. Not him coming out with a tire in iron. It's just him coming out of a Tesla immediately is intimidating because you're like, I don't expect that. You expect the nerd guy.
Yeah. Like,
Right? The guy who was just in
Ben,
here.
yeah, Ben should be doing that.
Right. All right. What else?
The name Linda Ronstadt has been trending.
Good.
Yeah, and the reason is there's a show on HBO called The Last of Us. It's their new big hit show. And in their most current episode, they played a version of Long, Long Time. And it's kind of like what happened with Stranger Things and Running Up That Hill with Kate Bush. So a lot of people are like, what is this song? Spotify saw a 4,900% increase between the hours of 11 and midnight Eastern.
So it went from one play to 4,000 plays.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's a beautiful song. I've said it on this podcast way more than once. It's one of my favorite songs. I was early money
Sing it for
on
us.
Linda Frank.
You can play a little bit of it.
No, Adam.
Hey, Adam, you know who knows this song? Dave Coulier. He loves this song.
Oh, Coulier. So
Yeah.
early money on
This was his
Ronstadt.
wedding song.
Yeah, I'll bet
his
it
fifth
was.
marriage. So if you want to have an immoral host who doesn't take marriage of the Lord seriously, Dave Coulier is your guy.
I don't judge.
Okay.
This song is so sad that she's gonna love you for a long, long time. But the last one is I'm gonna miss you for a long, long time. So she changed it for Now I'm Just Missing You. I'm pretty sure it's the saddest, most melancholy song ever.
You know what it reminds me of is Crosby, Stills, and Nash. They have that song "Teach Our Children," and then at the end they switch it to "Teach Our Parents."
Yeah, I like when they do a switch.
Yeah, really, because you go, here comes the same lyric again,
Right.
and then the switch, it just hits you, and so I get it on that level.
Yeah, when
Teach our children.
yeah, the greatest use of that in a live song. Well, now we have to hear it till she says "miss you." I think. So, all right, so best use of a switch out on a lyric.
Yeah.
UFO. You don't know UFO.
Yeah, I do. I had their 8-track.
You did?
Yes.
It must be a
And the rabbit?
Bostonian thing?
I don't know.
UFO,
Yeah.
Lights Out in London,
Uh-huh.
live version.
Okay.
It's a kick-ass song.
Can we play a little? I can't. I know I remember playing this.
They play Lights Out in London, which is one of their big hits. You know, it's about, I don't know, probably Lights Out in London was probably German blitzkrieg, getting bombed. They had to turn all the lights off, during the firebombing of London. But at some point, he switches from Lights Out in London to Lights Out Chicago. I bet he did that in Detroit.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he didn't say Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lights
makes more
out
sense,
in
yeah.
Detroit. It was saying Detroit, lights out in Detroit.
That's right.
Yeah.
We would change it to
Boston.
whatever.
So if you're in Boston, we go lights out Boston. That's what.
I guarantee you, though, the guy definitely had too much Jack in one city and went full Southwest commercial and fucked up the city because they're probably English and they're on some crazy travel schedule and something. And he definitely had a road manager going, "We are in Detroit tonight."
I bet it was written on the foot of the stage.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, it should be. I did that in
That's
Tempe.
right.
Yeah.
Your Worcester concert was in November of 1985
So I was 15 years old.
with your dad.
Yeah.
Simpler times.
We also saw Clapton.
Wow. With your dad?
Yeah, Clapton played Phil Collins on drums.
Wow.
I saw Deep Purple.
With your dad?
No, Deep Purple, what happened was something happened. They had to cancel, maybe snow. And this is the old days where the chairs weren't attached to the floor. They were what are they called?
Folding
Bridge chairs.
Uh-huh.
people just started throwing the bridge chairs.
Yeah.
But, it's outside of Boston. It's
That's
very
rock and roll.
It's
Wild
damn
scene
right
out
we're
there.
rock and roll.
I could see Clapton's
Ray Charles
when
with my
Clapton
dad.
goes, he'll get a Bobby Hole-ish kind
Yeah.
of headline.
Yeah, Clapton's going to get a Bobby hole.
Well, I mean,
gonna get hold.
Clapton's writing songs with what's his name, Domino. The singer, the soulful singer, Domino.
You got to narrow it down from soulful. There's been at least a baker's dozen.
British. He was in The Last Waltz.
British soulful in the Last Waltz. About the
White
band.
guy.
Scorsese's movie about the
Yeah,
band.
yeah. Why am I blanking on
Joe
his-
Cocker.
No.
Shit! I
Come
thought I had
on!
it.
Soulful
Fuck! I
white-
had it.
So Cocker's
Soulful
good.
white English.
That's Joe
I'm
Cocker,
done.
yeah.
Come on.
We're going with Joe
There's
Cocker.
8 people on computers
Clapton
over
on-
there. Nobody's come up with it.
You gotta-
Morrison.
Van Morrison. All right. All right.
So the two of them got together and they've been
yeah,
writing
yeah.
these.
Oh, okay.
Did you? By the way, Clapton is he's my hero. I can just watch him on the neck of the guitar. But have you heard, like in the '70s, the racist stuff he would yell out?
That's what I'm
at
saying.
concerts?
He's
Yeah.
gonna get a Bobby
It's
Hole.
going Bobby Hole.
Yeah.
Headline, yeah.
Sad. All right. Let's bring her home.
Why?
Because
Why don't we keep going?
I got more shit to do.
What more? Honestly,
I got Mark Garagos coming in here in a minute.
but am I staying in for the Garagos thing?
No, that's a good show. I mean, no, I don't mean good, but
Do I not have the intelligence?
No,
to-
I shouldn't even said good or quality.
Is this the same podcast?
People like that show.
Is this the same podcast?
It's a lawyer show.
But it's a name. Do we change
Yeah, it's
the
a serious
background?
lawyer show where I make fun of his Armenian heritage.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. I
people
have nothing
tune
to
in,
do.
they
If-
expect a product. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not Orny Adams sort of waxing about. One time I saw Katrina in the waves with my stepdad. That's not going to fly.
First of
This
all,
is
it was my biological dad.
all right, but
There's
this
no
is a real.
stepdad.
This is a real show. you
But
know,
I can hang with the real interviews. I ask,
Well-
I've had on my podcast, I've had FBI agents, I've had legit people, like real deal
Okay,
conversations.
I just haven't seen any evidence
Yeah.
of it here, but I'll review some of that. And I may rethink it. I'll promise
Check
you
it out.
that.
It's Reasonable Doubt, hosted by Adam, Mark Garagos, and Dave Coulier.
Yeah, Coullier's got to come in too, and it's going to be uncomfortable
Yeah,
for you
it's a
guys.
lot of-
to
yeah, if you
pass
need
each other.
Coulier to come in here and look pretty for an hour.
All
I
right,
love Dave.
Orny's got dates coming up. Bremerton, Washington, Admiral
Yeah.
Theater. That'll be Saturday, and then coming up Sarasota, Florida, McCurdy's Comedy Theater. That's coming up the February 17th and the 18th, and then you go to ornyadams.com
Yep.
for all the live shows. And don't forget about Teen Wolf, the movie. All right, thanks, Orny. Always good. I'm going to be in the Belly Up in Solana Beach coming up this Sunday. Maybe a ticket or two left, but I don't think many. Do stand-up, do live pod. West Palm Improv coming
Great
up February
club.
16th. Just go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows as well. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla. For Orny Adams and Chris Maxpata saying, mahalo.